Hi, welcome to Product Channel. Today we are going to see the exhaust fans in details. We will explore what is an exhaust fan? A bit of hardware used to evacuate steam, smoke or unsavory scents from a room or building. On account of little fumes fans, the CFM of wind current is in the middle of 30 to 50. On account of bigger models, the CFM of wind current can without much of a stretch achieve 200 to 300. The kitchen fumes fan uproar is typically estimated in zones. Any fan that produces 2 zones or less is viewed as a tranquil. Any fume fan that produces 4 zones or more is viewed as uproarious. In light of zones created, the cost is likewise decided. At the end of the day, bring down the zones, the higher will be the price. Exhaust fans can be mounted through a few sorts to be specific, divider mounted, outside or roof mounted. The revolution of sharp edges makes the sightseeing in room to be pulled towards the fan and kind of assimilated. This sightseeing is discharged outside and thereby cooler and fresher air will begin to fill the room. Divider mounted fans are best decisions for individuals who need to be set in any area. Outside fume fans are much the same as divider mounted fans, with main distinction being that clamor is made outside. Roof mounted fans are utilized to improve the wind stream through ventilation framework in the roof. Already, exhaust fans used to be basic plastic square with wide barbecues of late 21st century. While the lodging and the engine may be equivalent, a new fan highlights and brightening spread completions are currently accessible in the market. How does an exhaust fan look like? The exhaust fans come with blades that produce air when rotated, then are similar to the actual fan, but this is a miniature version of actual fan. The exhaust fan is to be fitted into a small hole, so they are bought in such a way that the shape and size fit into the hole. Where else does an exhaust fan can be fitted other than kitchen? One of the major advantages of exhaust fan is that it can be fitted anywhere in the house. The exhaust fan can be fitted wherever ventilation is required. The exhaust fan can be fitted in living room, bathroom and restroom. Now we will explore the top kitchen exhaust fans. One of the best kitchen exhaust fans is Luminous Exhaust Fan Vento Deluxe 200mm. A beautiful structure that matches spaces, for example kitchen, and keeps your home cool. This exhaust fan is noise free, so you might forget to off the exhaust fan switch, so be careful while doing it. Save electricity because we need to conserve for our future. The exhaust fans has the luminous nature, so cleansing of exhaust fan seems to be so easier when compared to the other exhaust fans. I felt that exhaust fan made the kitchen so complete that I'm loving the kitchen after the exhaust fan has been fitted. I watched Luminous's execution is a lot more prominent in suction control because of its more RPM. However, both the fans carry out responsibility well. It looks little and minimal, however, yet powerful. I was not anticipating this degree of suction speed from Luminous fan. Features. Material. The exhaust fan is made of plastic material, but it is very much rigid that it cannot be broken easily. The revolution of sharp edges make the sightseeing in the room to be pulled towards the fan and kind of assimilated. This sightseeing is discharged outside and thereby cooler and fresher air will begin to fill the room. Material is not very fragile. The material can be firm enough to last longer when compared to other exhaust fans. The exhaust fan can be cleaned very easily because it is made with the help of plastic and it can withstand more strength. The exhaust fan can dry up the kitchen more easily and much faster when compared to the other exhaust fans. The blade is made of polypropylene material. This material helps the exhaust fan to be cleaned much easier and it won't be difficult to clean. The polypropylene is very user friendly because it won't hurt or wound you like other steel materials. Specification. The minimal operation sound is about 35 watt. This makes the material very useful as well as very much sound free when compared to other products. This might be the reason why most of us forget to off the exhaust switch while leaving the kitchen. The sweep size is exactly around 200 millimeter. This is one of the major beneficial parts in this exhaust fan, that it can be fitted easily in a very small size space, so it would look more compact in the small as well as in very large kitchen. The size is the very important when we buy an exhaust fan, because only you will know the available space, so that you should buy an exhaust fan which you could probably fit in. This exhaust fan generally requires very small amount of current, so you probably need not worry about the current expenses which would come into play when you buy this equipment. Characteristics. The speed in the RPM is accurately 1350. This means that exhaust fan works at a very high speed, which would help you in obtaining the fresh air very easily once you switch on the exhaust fan. The speed is the only reason why you can get the place dried up faster and oil free. The intensity of exhaust fan depends on the speed at which it works. The faster the speed, higher the quality. The revolution of sharp edges make the sightseeing in room be pulled towards the fan and kind of assimilated. This sightseeing is discharged outside, and thereby cooler and fresher air will begin to fill the room. The voltage used by the exhaust fan is 220 to 240 volt AC and 50 Hz. This shows that the exhaust fan would require a very small amount of current when compared to the other exhaust fans. If the current consumption is less, it would be very useful, and it can be made use whenever required without much hesitation to think about the charges to be paid for electricity board. The color of the exhaust fan is plain white. Utility, which is very good in identifying the dirt particles, and cleansing would be much easier without leaving any part cleansed. The white color gives a royal look to the exhaust fan, and it would look great in the kitchen. The dimensions in the terms of length, breadth and height are 33, 14.5 and 32 centimeters. This shows that the exhaust fan would require a very small area to fit in. And this is one of the major beneficial parts in the exhaust fan, that it can be fitted easily in a very small size space, so that it would look more compact in small as well as in very large kitchen. The size is very important when we buy an exhaust fan, because only you will know the available space, so that you should buy an exhaust fan which would probably fit in. This exhaust fan generally requires a very small amount of current, so you probably need not worry about the current expenses which would come into play when you buy this equipment. Now, we will explore the pros and cons of the product. Pros: it makes cleaning more easy and comfortable. Noise-free environment. Compact in size, so we do not need to disturb the other equipments while fitting it. It is relatively cheaper when compared to other products. It has high durability and detrainment strength. Keeps the environment odor-free and moisture-free. Cons: the white color might be disturbing because you have to keep cleaning it very often. The sound-free characteristic is at times being disadvantageous because we forget to switch it off when we leave the kitchen. Check the description box to know the price of the product. Next, best kitchen exhaust fan is Ventilaire DX 35 watt 250 mm fan off-white from Havells. Air is the most significant component for supporting life. In this way, if the air we are breathing goes stale or has a terrible smell, it may detrimentally affect our well-being. Operating by power, the general strategy includes an electric flow that goes through the framework to cause the engine work, and thus this makes the fan's sharp edges move. As the fan's engines run, the edges will begin to turn. Consequently, appropriate air dissemination is standout amongst the most significant methods for guaranteeing our great well-being. Appropriate ventilation will guarantee that the air we breathe is continually recharged and free of awful scents and other risky gases. With this strong fumes framework from Havells, you can at last guarantee an appropriate ventilation framework for your home or office. This Havells household fumes fans expel the stale smells, leaving your rooms new and solid. It is made of high-grade designing plastic, which is known for its effect and scratch spot obstruction. This present fans generally low clamor task alongside current and utilitarian plan feel makes it perfect expansion to our living space. Features. Material. The exhaust fan is made of strong building plastic. This sort of plastic offers magnificent effect and scrapped area opposition. The material likewise guarantees that the fumes fan itself is lightweight and furthermore impervious to shading change. The revolution of the sharp edges makes sightseeing in the room to be pulled towards the fan and kind of assimilated. This sightseeing is discharged outside and thereby cooler and fresh air will begin to fill the room. The material is not very fragile. The material can be firm enough to last longer when compared to other exhaust fans. The exhaust fan can be cleaned very easily because it is made with the help of plastic and can withstand more strength. The exhaust fan can dry up the kitchen more easily and much faster when compared to other exhaust fans. The blade is made up of polypropylene material. This material helps the exhaust fan to be cleaned much easier and it won't be difficult to clean. Blade design. The sharp edges of the fume fans are efficiently structured to guarantee that cutting edges can move the ideal measure of air. The cutting edges have the components of 250 mm and a breadth size of 250 mm. The size is very important when we buy an exhaust fan because only you will know the available space, so that you should buy an exhaust fan which you could probably fit in. The exhaust fan generally requires a very small amount of current, so you probably not need worry about the current expenses which would come into play when you buy the equipment. The structure and situating of cutting edges are adjusted too, so the fumes can cause the least measure of buffeting. This fumes fan, inferable from its lightweight development, is perfect for the establishment on glass window. Its structure feels a guarantee that it doesn't resemble a blemish once introduced. The fan makes insignificant vibrations while working. In this manner, does not jeopardize the glass window sheets. Characteristics. The fan is a fast fan. The cutting edges turn at the speed of 1200 rpm, which makes the fan successful at expelling stale air and terrible smell. The size is very important when we buy an exhaust fan because only you know the available space, so that you should buy an exhaust fan which you could probably fit in. This exhaust fan generally requires a very small amount of current, so you probably need not worry about the same current expenses which would come into play when you buy the equipment. The vigorous engine of the fan guarantees that the fan can work persistently for quite long time while keeping up the high speed. To avoid a section of outside items like residue, winged animals and different articles, this fumes fan accompanies gravity screens. It is a savvy and simple method for guaranteeing the expanded lifespan of sharp edges of the fumes fan. Owing to the breadth size of 250 mm, this fan can encourage the progression of 860 cmh of air. This strong engine of the fumes fan guarantees that it can work and move the air for the day with no hiccups. Now we will explore the pros of the product. Low power consumption. Produces very little sound so that it doesn't damage our eardrum. Very easy cleaning process. Long lasting. High durability. Check the description box to know the price. Next best kitchen exhaust fan is Havells Ventilaire DSP 300mm Sweep Area Exhaust Fan 220 to 240 volts pista green. It provides faster and cool space in small period. It provides a valuable product at a fixed price. You can feel the value for money. The best infrastructure is obtained once you fit the exhaust fan into the required place. The exhaust fan is sound free and the speed is very high. The quality of product cannot be questioned. The proper fulfillment of the needs can be made with the help of this exhaust fan. The current consumption is very less, so you need not worry about the electricity bills. The standards are maintained as per the requirements. I felt that exhaust fan made the kitchen so complete that I'm loving the kitchen after the exhaust fan has been fitted. I watched Luminous's execution is a lot more prominent in suction control because of its more RPM. However, both the fans carry out the responsibility very well. It looks little and minimal, however, yet powerful. I was not anticipating this degree of suction speed from Luminous fan. Consequently, appropriate air dissemination is a standout amongst the most significant methods for guaranteeing our great well-being. Appropriate ventilation will guarantee that air we are breathing is continually recharged and free of awful scents and other risky gases. Features. Characteristics. The cutting edge and the body of the exhaust fan are made of metal. This makes the fan considerably more solid and adds a long time to the lifespan of fan. Over that, the metal is powder covered, which makes the exhaust fan rust resistant. The exhaust fan sports a winged creature watchman made of metal spokes. The feathered creature gatekeeper keeps winged animals from flying into the fan, making a wreck and sticking the sharp edges of exhaust fan when it is running. The fumes fan is made of metal, including cutting edge and body. The metal bits are powder covered, which makes the fan rust proof, hence adding a very long time to the life of exhaust fan. Specification. The edge of the exhaust fan are efficiently structured to guarantee that the edges can move the idle measure of air. The edges have the elements of 300 mm and a compass size of 300 mm. The plan and the situating of the edges are adjusted to with the goal that the fumes cause the least measure of buffeting. Owing to the compass size of 300 mm, this fan can encourage the progression of 900 cmh of air. This vigorous engine of the exhaust fan guarantees that it can work and move air for the day with no hiccups. The sharp edges of this exhaust fan are efficiently structured to guarantee that the cutting edges can move the idle measure of air. The cutting edges have the elements of 300 mm and a breadth size of 300 mm. The plan and situating of the sharp edges are adjusted to with the goal that the exhaust fan causes the least measure of striking. Functionality. An exhaust fan framework gives various advantages, including the refining of air from contamination and inordinate heat. Operating by power, the general strategy includes electric flow that goes through the framework to cause the engine to work, and thus this makes the fan's sharp edges move. As the fan's engines run, the edges will begin to turn. The revolution of sharp edges make the sightseeing in room pull towards the fan and kind of assimilated. This sightseeing is discharged outside and thereby cooler and fresh air will begin to fill the room. The progression of current will likewise lessen the stagnation of air and is particularly significant and valuable in the rooms or zones that need power ventilation. When one introduces a fumes fan, it is suggested that you put it as high up as could be allowed. The closer it is to the roof, the better. Now we will explore the pros and cons of the product. Highly protected equipment, no need for regular cleansing, noise-free equipment, high-speed rotatory power, lightweight. Cons. Cleaning would be very difficult because of the bird cover. The chances of getting hurt while cleaning or fitting the equipment are very high because the blades are made of metal. Check the description box to know the price of the product. Thanks for watching the video. I have analyzed all the best kitchen exhaust fans and have written a blog. The blog link is in the description box of video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos.